If nobody buys a ticket to a movie, do they still play it anyway? Every modern theater runs on an automated schedule. The theater manager might pop their head in 10 minutes into the show to see if anybody is in there. If not, they might turn the projector off to save bulb life. In a large theater, probably. People come late to theaters all the time. So what would happen if one guy shows up 15 minutes late, buys a ticket? Does the theater start the movie 15 minutes late for the one customer, pushing the schedule for every other showing back 15 minutes? It's kinda like trains. Even if no one is on it, you can't predict the consequences down the line. It's just part of the cost of doing business. They would likely just adjust the schedule going forward to have fewer showings, rather than risk pissing off lots of other customers down the line. Back in the days of manual operation, they wouldn't. Twice I went to see a movie with a date and sat in the very back where the projectionist couldn't see us. No one else showed up. The movie never started. I yelled, "Hey, start the movie," kinda as a dumb joke. Next thing you know, film starts rolling. As others have said, it's all automated now in large theaters. Once I watched the movie alone, which means there was no one at the cinema, so yeah. I lived in Guatemala for a bit, and I did go to the movies my girlfriend and I got tickets. I was told they wouldn't play the movie if they didn't sell 4 tickets. I waited, no one else showed up, so I paid for 2 more tickets, so they would show it. One of the worst days of my life. When I was about 8, my mom and I went to our little local cinema to see Monsters vs Aliens. It was a huge deal for me. I had been looking forward to this for weeks, spending time with my mom doing something really special to me. We only did stuff like this maybe once every 2 years. We were the only people there. I was super excited. But then nobody else showed up and the clerk told us they wouldn't start the movie just for us. I was absolutely crushed and still haven't seen the damn movie 16 years later. I used to work at a theater 4 years ago. Yes, we set up a playlist and it autoplays. Especially because someone can buy a ticket last minute and we can't monitor every theater. We're usually too busy. Normally they'll turn the screen off, but let the movie run. This saves the bulb energy in life and doesn't disrupt the schedule. I was a projectionist at a chain theater. We never checked or cared if anyone was in there or not. The movies ran every time they were scheduled. Snuck into Stroker Ace back in the 80s after my movie finish. Ed wasn't a soul in there and it was playing. I can tell you at Regals now, if a ticket is not scanned, it will stop after around 15 min. Like if you have a ticket, but the box office person doesn't scan it, it will think no one is there and auto shut off. Pretty sure they still run the movie but with no sound. How do I know this? Because I went to a movie by myself, and was the only one in the theater and there was no sound and I had to go out and tell someone and they said, "Oh sorry, we didn't think anyone was in there." Haha, yeah, they usually still play it even if no one's there. I guess it's like just in case someone shows up last minute or whatever. But honestly, imagine the poor projectionist like, "Well, guess I'll just run this for myself." I've been in the situation where my friend and I bought tickets and saw one when we were the only ones in the theater and we were a bit late, so maybe. I used to be a theater manager. If no one showed after 15 minutes into showtime, I would go upstairs to projection room and click the off button to save bulb life. Everything else was automated though. Nope. 20-year theater manager here. This was relevant for late night shows. Digital or film BC, it meant we didn't have to sit and wait for that ish to end, so we could go home. I was a projectionist in the olden days when films ran off actual film, and if no tickets had been sold, we used to shut the projector lamp off 20 mins into the film to save it. They have a limited hour shelf life, and cost a pretty penny, so if we could save some we would wed radio floor staff to check in case any off-duty staff had signed in to see it proper. Olden days, so staff used to just sign a bit of paper to enter a film, so it wouldn't flag on the system. It's done proper through tills nowadays. The 20 minutes was when the tills would remove it, so you couldn't sell any more tickets. The film would still have to run through the projector, so it was just the lamp that got flicked off. In a short run as an usher after digital projectors took gerb, it was rare. If I checked a screen and it was empty, I'd let management know, and sometimes they'd turn it off, sometimes they'd shrug, and let it run anyway. Edit, fixed a sentence, and while I'm here just to clarify, this was in the UK. I was a projectionist in the 90s. We would because there was always a chance someone would show up late. At least that way, we didn't screw up all the other start times. One of our houses ran 2 projectors. So if after the first reel was done and no one was watching, I could just shut it down and get reel 1 ready for the next show. I never saw how the fancier places did it. My theater was old and still used Century projectors. They didn't even make parts for them anymore. For all I know, they don't even use film anymore. Back when I was a projectionist using actual film on large turntables and a mechanical projector, the theater had a policy to start the film on time regardless of how many tickets were sold. If someone came late still a lot of trailers back, then the film would already be running and finish on time. If no one came, I would turn off the lamp in the projector and let the film run through to the end. It was too much hassle to stop, remove the film from the pathway and load it onto the receiving turntable. I am a manager for a movie theater chain at mine. If no tickets are sold, the movie plays, but the bulb in the projector does not turn itself on, set up on a series of automated cues. This is to save bulb life, as the xenon bulbs are very expensive and very dangerous to handle and replace. The speakers continue to play sound and dialogue from the movie, so fuck the speakers I guess lol.